Okay, I wanted to start off by just talking about what I think are the qualities needed to become a writer or an artist. I know that there are a lot of people who are writers here, whether you're a mentee or a mentor. Um, I hate I hate the phrase aspiring writer. I think that if you write, to write is a verb, it's an action. There is no aspiring. You do it or you don't. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, qualities needed to be a writer or artist. One, I would say an open-mindedness in terms of like an expansive way of thinking and approaching the world. I think that this open-mindedness allows a writer or an artist to basically consider anything, imagine anything, envision other points of view that are different from your own, imagine scenes, imagine conflicts, and I think having an open-minded attitude also means that you, as an artist, are open to other techniques and other styles, which just makes the work that much more interesting and layered. Two, second quality as I see it, this curiosity. Let the curiosity guide your work. The questions that you have, let that guide your work. Three, a sense of honesty, to say what people don't say or are afraid to say. And I guess that quality is kind of tied in with bravery. Fourth quality that I listed, and of course these are just a few, they're not end all be all. The fourth quality that I see is having a drive and a determination to have a vision for your work and see your work through until the end. I also see our job and our challenge as writers is basically to take the raw, very, very messy material of life as well as imagination and find a way to convey all of it in our work. So how do we articulate life? How do we articulate life as we experience it? How do we make it feel real and believable on the page or in whatever art form that we use? How do we capture what's fleeting, what's abstract, what's hard to define? For example, feelings. How do you capture music? How do you capture relationships between people? And my answer to that would be painters. If you're a painter, your medium is paint, right? If you're a musician, your medium is your instrument. But if you're a writer, your medium is language, like words. That's what we have to work with. And that's why words are of the utmost importance. Language is of the utmost importance. So I just had 3 specific tips and applications for capturing what is intimate and what we might imagine, and just capturing the stuff of life on the page. One method that I really rely on and like to use is sensory details. Our senses are the way that we experience the world. So with that in mind, what do your narrators see? What do they taste? What do they hear? What do they touch? It is crucial to give readers a visceral experience. And you do that by placing them in a body and helping them experience those senses. It's very, very important to have these details be specific and particular. Get as specific as possible. Yes. My second tip that I have on the topic of language is to remember that it is important to remove cliches and to opt for fresh language. Remove language that is stale, remove language that's overused. And using fresh language allows you to give readers a more original voice. And cliches are like really boring to read. So just X them, just cross them out, delete them, or revise them, I would say. Um, so, oh, yes, I had one more tip, one quick tip, which is to be voracious in your work and in your writing. And by that, I mean, um, don't be afraid to draw from or incorporate all sources, to draw from music, to draw from movies, to draw from other languages, to draw from the internet, to draw from philosophy, family history, that quirky thing you saw on the subway. Great. So I will be reading just a very short excerpt that I hope illustrates some of my points from my novel. And this excerpt is called The Dregs of Queens. So you can follow along with me. The Dregs of Queens from Brown Girls, the sights in our hometown. Central Road, nicknamed the Boulevard of Death by the New York Post, which snakes through our neighborhood like a long gray tongue. Mimi's Salon with an ad that reads Mani and Petty, $15.99 with neck massage free. Down the boulevard, across the street from the auto repair shop, a branch of the New York Public Library. Book pages smeared with fingerprints, a booger, the remnant of a sneeze. In the corner, a homeless man fortressed by plastic bags snoozes peacefully. We know he's different from the guy who raps his knuckles on car windows and asks, little girl, got any change, before our parents zoom away. Welcome to the Dregs of Queens. White Castle sign that comes into view when our subway pulls into the station. Tracks rumbling above a Honda minivan. A halal food cart called Rafi Smiles with the scent of bubbling oil and smoke that wafts past a forgotten discount electronics store, now selling mattresses. Train slogs above a man chomping a Boston cream donut, whose custard filling explodes onto the tips of his fingers. He licks them, waits for the Q11 to arrive. Ray's Not Your Mama's Pizzeria with spongy Sicilian slices, whose Cheetos-colored oil trickles down our chins when we take a bite. Soap and Suds laundromat filled with steel machines pounding round and round. A Chinese-Mexican takeout joint beside O'Malley's, whose carpet of plastic green grass out front is littered with cigarette butts. Our own houses, neat brick rectangles, hidden, peripheral. Sometimes the sun shines here. Thank you. Our first writing exercise, write about a place you know well, only using sensory details. What are the sights, sounds, smells, tastes that immediately come to mind? Be specific. Use concrete details. A few tips that I have here too. Be sure to include details that aren't just positive or pretty. Don't be afraid to include what might be ugly or shameful, and you can talk about a real place or an imaginary place. Our second writing exercise is deceptively simple. It's a two-parter. So this is the first part of it. Think about someone you love in real life or a character who you're working on, an amalgamation of both. Think of someone you love and then just write down as many specific details, images, memories about this person from the point of view of someone who loves them. So the second part of this exercise, write first I asked you guys to write about someone that you love, or write about a character from the point of view of someone who loves them. Remember that open-mindedness I mentioned in my talk. I think that as a writer, you also have to be able to imagine other perspectives, like that's crucial. So for the second part, write about the same person from the point of view of somebody who hates them or dislikes them or finds them irritating. So take that same character that you wrote about and write about them from the point of view of somebody who hates them.
If you are interested in staying connected with our incredible teaching artist, Daphne, and if you just want to ask her some more questions that we didn't get to answer today or tonight, you can follow her on Twitter and Instagram.